Internet, it's Katie, finishing up the week talking about girls in Harry Potter that I think are underrated, and I wanted to talk about Ginny, because Ginny is one of my favorite characters, and I know a lot of people who just don't like her, and I've discovered that there tend to be two kinds of people who don't like Ginny. The first kind are people who have only watched the movies or have spent more time watching the movies than reading the book. And they are absolutely right. Ginny in the movies, her character never gets developed. She never gets any kind of personality. She's just kind of there. And she's gorgeous. Bonnie Wright is beautiful, but she's just, her character never gets developed. And if that's you, if you don't like Ginny because of the movies, then please go read the book, especially books 5 and book 6, because Ginny's so awesome. The second kind of person who doesn't really like Ginny are people who, when you say Ginny Weasley, they think of book 2. And in book 2, Ginny's kind of shy, overly shy even, won't even talk around Harry. And she stays that way throughout book 3 and book 4, and she's just kind of a reactionary character who's just there as basically a plot device. And again, you're right, that character's not that interesting. But sometime between book 4 and book 5, Ginny grows up, and her character is, to me, Ginny epitomizes a Gryffindor. She's so brave. Harry can never, her mom even, can never convince her to hold back from a fight. If there's a fight going on, Ginny's going to be in the middle of it. She's going to be casting that bad bogey hex like nobody's business. She's brave and she speaks her mind. She's not afraid to tell you what she thinks, even if she knows you're not going to agree with her. She's sassy. She's a fireball when she's angry, and honestly, even when she's not. She's got a great sense of humor. My favorite moment in book 6 is when they're all sitting out on the lawn together, and Ginny's talking about how Romilda Vane thought that Harry had a hippogriff tattooed on her chest. And my favorite moment in the entire of book 6 is when she says, I told her it was a Hungarian hoardtail, much more macho. And the first time I read that, I was just laughing out loud. I love Ginny. She makes me laugh. And all the Harry Hermione shippers out there are going to hate me, but she's the perfect fit for Harry. No one could possibly understand what Harry's been through the way Ginny does, because Ginny has been possessed by Voldemort, and that happened when she was very young, and it helped shape who she became. If anyone could understand Harry's need to defeat Voldemort, it would be Ginny. And she's the only one who can understand what it's like to have a bit of Voldemort's soul inside of you. And Harry needs someone who understands that, as she aptly points out partway through book 5. And Harry says, I forgot, and she says, lucky you. It's such a huge part of who she is, and even though we don't see that part of her that often, because she doesn't let it define everything about who she is, it has really shaped the way she sees the world. And that's what makes her such an important fit for Harry. And that's why when Harry leaves, she doesn't say, no, stay with me, I need you, the way an overly attached girlfriend might, but she says, I always knew you would go. And that's what I love about Ginny, that she understands Harry, she understands what he has to do, and she's willing to support him through it. And you know that if Harry had been willing to take her, she would have gone with him, and she would not have been left behind. And you know that if something had happened to Harry, if Harry hadn't had the Hollows, and he had died, then Ginny would have been the one who cast that final curse against Voldemort, because nobody, maybe not even Harry, deserved it as much as she did. Deserved vengeance on him for what he did to her. Not that I personally believe in vengeance, but Ginny obviously has no problem with vengeance. And that's the great thing about her character. So really, if you have not come to appreciate Ginny like that, I really encourage you to go read especially books 5, 6, and 7 again, because her character really develops to a point that I think, and it happens slowly enough that I think that that's why we don't notice it. And I encourage you to go notice it. If for some reason you still disagree with me about Ginny, or if you have something to add that I missed, please let me know. Like I said, she's one of my favorite characters. I love to talk about her, and I'd love to hear what you have to think. Have an awesome weekend, guys.